Welcome to Three Mums Podcast, hosted by Natalie, Anthea, and Charlene. This is a space where you'll get nothing but real conversation. This is your moment to pause, have a laugh, get involved, and come on our journey. Open, honest, and free always. Hashtag the Three Mums Way.
How are you ladies doing today?
We're good, man. I'm good. Where's your water?
I forgot it.
I mean, if it was a cocktail.
Yeah, no.
Porn star.
It's somewhere. What about you, Shaz? How you feeling?
I feel good.
You feel good?
Yeah.
Good.
Looking luscious today, Annie.
The legs
The
out.
legs them out.
Yes.
The second time I'm getting highlighted. Oh my goodness gracious. Anyway, so yeah, today we will be talking about, I think if I was to give it a title, it'd be like Growing Old Gracefully, even though that will not be the title of the pod. But
if I
was to title it would be Growing Old Gracefully. And just discussing about how we feel about getting older, essentially. So I don't mind kicking off. I make it no secret. I am 42 years of age.
Whoa!
I mean,
come on.
I think
Like,
had a
which
ton
part
of comments.
exactly.
Like, how is
Exactly.
she? Who is she?
How?
40 who?
When?
40 odds.
Right. Now, I have to say, guys, and I do not take it lightly when I say I count my blessings, because
You don't look your age.
No, you know what? I know, on a serious note, life experiences can change
Wear
so
you down,
much.
batter you down, age you.
Right. And considering
What you know,
life experiences,
you should really do.
I count my blessings, guys. I count my blessings. And yeah, I find that, as every year goes on, I think when I hit 40, especially going into that part of my life, it was bittersweet, because I remember as a child having people around me that were 40 and they seemed really old. 40 just seemed such an old age. And then I looked at myself, not just the physical, but myself at 40, and I'm like, okay, well, I don't feel old. I certainly don't act old, and I don't dress old. Yeah, and I think that's the difference. Back then,
They dressed
older. That part of that whole thing of like turning 40. That was one dynamic for me, but it was also a time to like reflect on all the different chapters of my life up until that point. So, from work, my career, having children, and even what stepping into my 40s looked like, because I knew that I wanted to have a new career at some point, but then I'm now 42 and it still hasn't happened.
So what's Three Mums?
Is it a career?
It's a new path.
It's a new path.
Never done podcasts.
Yeah, 100%.
Those are people who are just podcasters would say that's their career.
You know what? I guess it's a
change of mindset.
It's definitely a change of mindset, but I think I'm looking at it from a paid standpoint.
Fair enough.
Do you know what I mean? That's why I would say.
Exactly.
No, 100%. And so for me, it's like, 42 years of age, and I certainly know for a fact that I don't look it. But do I feel it?
Yes.
Wow. Hell yeah. I feel it, guys. In more ways than one. We've touched on it in previous pods, and it's something that I am trying to navigate to the best way I can. But it's not easy. It's definitely not easy. So how do you guys feel about being at the ages? Like for you, Nats, this is your last year of being...
Yeah, I'll enter. I'm 38. Yeah, 39.
You're entering,
Yeah, I feel I've never had an age problem. What I found over the years is people like to project their ageism issues onto you. Do you get what I mean? Like, so I've personally... I remember I went to... So find you and me in my quotes. Like, I went to an event 2 years ago. And there was a girl, her name is actually Hayley Mulenda. I apologise if I've quoted your name incorrectly. And she said, age is mandatory, growth is optional. And that quote hit me so different because it's like, people make such a fuss over age when it's mandatory. Like, you ain't got no every choice. Day you're a day older. Like, why would you stress over something that is happening, whether you want it or not? You have no control. Like, but how you choose to grow through the age is entirely up to you. And that I already was in a place doing that, but since then it's hit me differently, and that's my biggest thing. Like, age for me is not a problem. I don't feel old. I actually, be honest with you, only in this past year and a bit since COVID was the first time I feel my age. I'm going to be honest. And I think that's just down to how hard the past year or so has been and everything else. Like, I feel old. And I've said it to people like, I feel older, guys. And everyone's just like, no, you don't look your age. Do you get what I mean? But for ages, I honestly can say I still felt like I was in late 20s. Do you get what I mean? Like, for years, I've still felt late 20s. Yeah, I don't have an issue with growing old. I have an issue with growing older and not achieving my goals. I have an issue with growing older and having regrets. That's more my issue, not the age. So I think my biggest thing is accepting mistakes are always going to happen, but it'd be nice to just, I ain't got time. I haven't actually got time to be making certain mistakes that I don't need to be making and having to clean up that mess, and it take me longer to get to a stage I'm going for. That's more my issue as I get older. But I have no issues with growing older at all. But it does help if you do look good. I'm gonna be honest.
100%.
I've seen some people from school my age, and I'm like, oh, the years have not been kind. And for some people, it's not even the case. They've mostly been living life better than me, but genes play a massive part, and I'm very, very grateful. Yeah, we have to be honest, guys. When it comes to skin, when it comes to so many factors, you know, we don't have those problems there. Do you get what I mean? So, yeah.
I actually heard someone say once, like, we do focus a lot on looking younger than our age. And the person was just like, it's okay to look your age. And it just really hit me. Because even me, I'm like, people will say you look like you're in your 20s. If you're an actress and you were playing a school kid, nobody would say blah, blah. But she was like, there's something really beautiful in just not being down about that. You're getting older. And if you look your age, that's fine. Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, and I would 100% say I'm fine about being the age that I am. Like Nat said, which is a very crucial point, it is that whole thing of, you know, that sense of achievement. And for me, it always comes back down to the shift in becoming a mother of three, you know, and I don't want to get older and get to the point of my life where I am regretting not doing certain things. But I've also got to be realistic in knowing that my current circumstance is prohibiting me doing certain things, because I know that I was 100% career driven, but it was impossible to be as driven as I was once I became a mother of two. And
it's not impossible, but you
depending on the type of
chose. Okay, let me your choice was I want my children to be because people do it all the time.
100%. So let me for me, it was it was a hard decision to say that I would leave that behind and focus. You know, it can be done for some people. I'm not taking away from anybody, but it's definitely altered who I am as a woman. That I would say it's definitely altered who I am as a woman. So what about, you know, yourselves in terms of like getting older, achieving your dreams, achieving your, having your aspirations?
I think for me, you always say for me.
Yeah, you are talking. Yeah,
you do say that.
I said for me, yeah. Personally, yeah.
For me,
yeah.
Anyway, I'm about to be 36, and I don't mind being that age. I think in my head, sometimes I say to Natalie, like, we have little milestones that we remember from like when we lived with mummy and daddy in their first house, and we're like, how did we, like, sometimes I look at us with our children.
Oh, no, how did we get here? How are we mummy and daddy?
Yes, because we remember how we looked at mummy and daddy, and now
well, we don't look the same.
No, we don't. I'm just saying, how I viewed them.
Yes.
Even at these ages, and it's like I'm now the mum. I feel really happy with the things I've done and the way that because like you said, Nat, that living with regret, I think that is just really hard, and I think that is probably part of the reason why some people age frustrates them, because they haven't achieved certain things. 100%. But I think of late, I've actually, this isn't necessarily age related, but it's more, I'm having to just kind of fight feelings of things I wasn't taught that could have informed better choices. The choices that I've had control of, I really feel I've maximised. Like, I lived abroad, and I feel like I've really tried to pursue loads of different things that I desired, from acting to different classes and just jobs I've wanted to try. I really feel like I've done that, and that feels good, having done even like all the travel I've done before having Talia. But at this moment in my life, I think having Tay was the trigger for a lot of other areas of just like, I wouldn't like to say regret, because it was out of my control, but it's something I'm currently navigating. Like, just like, okay, now at this age, I kind of wished I'd had this, if I'd have made this choice. But like I say, and I'm not faulting my mum and dad. They did the best that they could. But I do sit and I do, it's they say that comparison is the thief of your joy, and I'm all for that. But sometimes you do just, you talk to people and it's like, I wish I knew that. Because if I'd have known that, I would have done the same. But I just didn't know. And I think managing that and accepting that that's all you can do is change your now and the future. And I own that, but I think that is probably something that it's something I'm navigating.
I think for me is a conversation that I had with my firstborn. It was only last week, and he has it in his mind that I'm an old mum.
Oh wow.
Yeah, because he's done the whole math of when he's a certain age.
I remember thinking that.
I'm going to be, and then in his mind, once I'm that age, it means that I may fall ill, I may not be as agile, and, and it's quite funny because I'm like, Mars, like, mummy is, it's certain things are out of my control anyway. I do all I can now to be as healthy as I can. I said in terms of how mummy looks, when people ask me my age, or if I ever have to mention my age, people are like, no way. So, in that regard, I don't, mummy doesn't look like an old mummy. But do you remember as like kids?
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, I do you know what? I have to be honest, looking back, so my mum and dad had me at 24 and 25. That's actually younger than every single one of us had our first kid. Do you get what I mean? But yet still, there were still friends whose mums were super young because they'd had them at 17 and 18. So I think that was the only first thing that made me think my parents were older. Do you get what I'm trying to say to you? But they weren't. But if I'm honest, I just remember how they looked at certain ages. Like, I remember my mum at 40. I'm about to be, well, not about to be, it's a rushing time. I'm 38. I'll be 40 next year. But me, I already know my mum at 38 and me at 38. We're two different women. We are two. And then I'm going to go a step further. I remember when I had Josiah, my mum was 50. I can't remember. I'm not going to say it, but she was just early 50s. Comparing to my gran, like, do you know what I mean? Like, my gran seems so old. These times my mum became a grandmother, older than my gran was.
Yeah.
Like, it just, and I mean, my dad's mum was grandma. Like, that, like, do you know what I mean? You bake the cake, you know, like, you know what I'm saying? Just grandma, like,
she
from the shoes, she wore shoes that were good for her feet. Like, you know, like, so yeah, I think just generationally, there's been a shift. So I just remember there was such a big stigma over hitting 30 years old. And then when I got to 30, I was like, well, I just know I was in the prime. Like, I'd had Josiah. I was like the fittest I'd ever been. I felt amazing at 30 years old. My biggest issue goes back to what I already said. It was certain things I hadn't maybe achieved yet, but I still was able to look at what I did have, and I was very proud of that. I'm going to be honest to you guys. What was a defining moment a few years ago? We had a get-together at our auntie's house, Auntie D. It was a couple years ago. There's older women that have been in our lives from they were super young, and I've watched them when they got to their 25th and their 30th and their 40, you know, their 40th and stuff like that, and they've all got sons. And I stepped in the room. I had Josiah, and I think Joelle at the time was no older than about a year, maybe a year old. And they said, "Hey, Auntie, who are you talking to?" That's when do you remember? I was like, why are you not calling me Auntie? Like, I'd always just been Nats or whatever. But something has shifted in that past year, even whether it's just they got to a certain age, and then I was like, no, I'm young, I'm cool. I'm like you guys. Like, they're like, no, you're Auntie. Like, I'm like, can you not actually stop calling me Auntie? Like, why are you? I'm not in that category. Do you get what I'm trying to say to you? Where you feel you have to address me with that respect, and that my name's that.
One of them's always called me Auntie.
No way, he didn't with me. Do you get what I'm trying to say to you? But they were all calling me Auntie. I was like, what? And that through me in my mind, I'm like, but I'm doing the same dances as you guys. I'm out here like, I'm young. Like, do you know what I mean? But for them, it was like, you're in your 30s. I just realized that in that moment to them, I'm 30s. I'm 30s, married, got 2 children. I've walked into this party. You are Auntie. You're older. That threw me. I'm not gonna lie. I wasn't actually ready for that. I was like, I'm young though. Like,
remember talking to a younger person. I think I was like 32 at the time.
Yeah.
He was. Maybe he was like 21. And I was like, am I old to you? And he was like, you're not like ancient. Like, you're not young, innit? And I was like, no, what do you mean? I'm 32. He was like, no, but like 32, that's like you're getting on. Like, you're not like proper old, but like, you're just not. It's just like, oh wow, it was just so interesting to hear a younger person
why is
say that
still happening today? Like, why is there this stigma on these age brackets? Where did it come from? Is it passed down?
I think it is passed down, personally. 100%. I think it's passed down. I think there's just certain age brackets that make
you're meant to achieve certain things.
Achievement, but it just, you're edging to the side of...
But it's not old. 30's not old. 40's not
It's
old.
not, but you then go, like, how I used to think was like, okay, 30 is closer to 40. 40 is, do you know what I mean? You're not going back.
Because I feel like now in society, like 40 is the new 30.
Oh, yeah.
50 is the new 40. Like, look at Daddy. Do you know what I mean? 60 is the new 50. Like,
I remember when I thought 60 was age.
I thought 60 was old, and I look at my parents, I'm like, which part of you? Yeah, it's like, but it's because when we were younger, I don't care. Our grandparents were old in their 60s.
They look old.
They had sickness, they had ailments, they had stuff. Just some, I mean, like, and obviously
they must have carried a lot. As to why they actually looked.
Yeah. No, I think church played a part too. Like, and I think
in what regards?
How they dressed, how they carried themselves.
Yeah.
Like, they looked old. The granny clothing. Like, when I look at my mum when she was younger, how she dressed, like, there was a shift. Do you know what I mean? From a younger age, she looked younger. Like, fast forward 10 years later, because the clothing had changed and the attire had changed. Do you know what I mean? The jewelry, different things like that. So I think that they looked older because of how they dressed themselves, like, which we've not ever really done.
Let's talk about the whole dressing. Let's address the phrase mutton dressed as lamb. So I've been told.
By who?
I'm not going to call. Obviously, I'm not going to call no names, babes. But yeah, I've been told that I don't dress appropriately for my age.
So what is appropriately for your age?
Well, they couldn't tell me what I should be wearing, but yeah.
Okay.
So, what are your thoughts on?
Yeah. Okay. That's very interesting.
Okay. That is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Sorry. I've definitely seen
Yes, we know what
before.
Yeah.
Yes, well, I'm
Say
just
that again,
like,
babe, I didn't hear that.
I've definitely seen either it's in films or out women that are definitely older, and it's like that doesn't flatter you. But
there just is something about it that does look young, too young for their age.
Yeah. I have to, but I think it's more because clothes are a thing for us, and it's not about that's what that thing of now that's too young for you, because what I'm saying is I've seen women who are older and they wear really like, but it's like, is that a young thing or is it just trendy?
Yeah.
But yeah, there are definitely women.
I still think there's a line.
Yes, I'm not going to disagree now. Where I've seen it's just like that just does not compliment you. It doesn't flatter you. You know, maybe on somebody, but on you it just does not. It doesn't
do anything for you.
But I mean, somebody saying that about you is utterly ridiculous.
Yeah.
However, I've already seen myself when I'm older with grey hair, and I'll still be wearing my fashion glasses. Like there's somebody that I have in my head right now, and she's like 50 plus. Oh my gosh, she looks so good. And like she'll talk to me, and she loves our fashion too. And it's just like, it doesn't matter. You can make it work for you.
It's just knowing,
I
think that's the difference. I'll be honest, there are some people, I do think that, as you know, fashion swings and roundabouts, that not every trend is for everybody. So I think
it doesn't suit your body size or shape.
And I don't think it's always about just clothing. Some people just get it wrong entirely, like your hair from your clothes. There's a mix of stuff. Do you get what I'm
not just having a nice outfit.
It's not just. But I remember even skinny jeans, when skinny jeans kind of came out, so many, especially older guys and even young guys were like anti-skinny jeans. Do you understand what I mean? And now you've got older guys wearing them. Do you understand what I mean? Like it's just knowing how to wear certain outfits. And
can I just say, we're not really close anymore, but I had a friend, you said it's not just about the clothes.
Yeah.
She really she liked how I dressed, and she'd be like, Shah, does this look? And I couldn't lie to her. And that's what I'm saying. If you've got friends, be a good friend. I'm not letting you go out like that. Like she wanted to wear certain boots and but her hair, the whole look
was just not.
And because I know this person, she loves her hair. She loves her jewelry. The things that she loves, and she was trying to put with some of these more trendy, on trend. So I guess that's when it says like it's more of a younger look.
Yeah.
But it's just on trend. It just didn't work with her.
I know exactly.
And I would just be like, it doesn't look good, babe. And I would say, I wouldn't necessarily go in and say it's because of because that's how I know she likes to dress. So there's no point in me saying you need to change she'd have to change her whole look for that particular certain clothes and boots to work. And it's just and to be honest, she does look more mature, because when you wear
her
things
face,
that are on
her
trend,
actual face though, you still have to take into account actually just like that
the way
whole
you
thing
do
of
your makeup,
accepting how life is allowing you to grow older. It's all well and good not feeling your age, and it's all well and good accepting that you're getting older, but the reality is, you said some of us look our age, some of us look younger. Guys, some of us look older than our age, and you have to accept that. So if you are somebody who is 41, but unfortunately you do look 51, like, you have to take into account that certain things aren't going to adorn that whole aesthetic the way that you would like. And I think that's hard for some people, because the reality is you are 41. So I'm not telling you to dress older.
Because people talk a lot about wanting to look younger.
Yeah, you
pretend.
do you know what I'm trying to say? Age has not.
It's one thing to look your age, but if you actually look older,
age has not come to us all the same way, and that's just the way it goes. That's just the way it goes. But I just think knowing what trends are okay, and it's a fine line. It's a hard one.
You say that because I've seen a progression in how I viewed motherhood and clothes throughout the years of being a mum. Because no word of a lie, when I was the younger version of myself, when I was younger with Amari, it wasn't an issue. Do you know what I mean? Like, I would just
wear what I
want. Then having Ty, my second, I think as well, it goes back to how my body was as well. There was this stigma that I had, as like, there's just certain things I cannot wear while I'm pushing a buggy. that was just in my head. And I remember I just went through a phase where I just
black.
Yeah, everything was black.
Wow.
Everything was black. Nats would tell you. I was still shopping, but everything was black.
Boy, I don't know.
Yeah, it was just. But obviously, it's not the case now. But it's just...
And that's just a comfort place. No, I get it.
Yeah.
There's a lot of women like that.
Yeah.
So I can remember having a woman that came to get her hair done last year. She was talking about her cousin, and her cousin had just had a baby. And her cousin just did a massive shop, but all she bought was leggings and T-shirts, because in her mind, now she's a mother, that's just what you wear. And she's like, I'll switch it up and I'll put like a blazer with the leggings and a T-shirt, or I'll put a bomber jacket with the leggings and a T-shirt. Like, in her eyes, and this girl, just what she was making the point, it was like, you got 2 children and you always look so... And I was like, get it. Like, you can easily lose yourself. And this is what I'm saying. This age is not just about motherhood, like, not at all. But there are different points in your life that I completely understand. You can lose a sense of your external identity as to how you want to present yourself to the world.
Also, it's what you watch, who you're around.
What you feed just, and I do think
I am
that
really
helps.
happy to have I'm around people that are also younger than me.
Yeah.
And I have one particular friend, she'll tell me about certain music she's listening to, and books and podcasts and this, that, and I like that. It does help.
It does help. Yeah, I do think your environment plays a part too. I can honestly say that there have been friends that maybe I've had in the past, and I know that when they were in my life, they looked different. Do you understand what I mean? They adorned themselves differently. They carried themselves differently. And I know that I was influential in that. Do you get what I mean? And now to see some of them now, it's like, yeah, wow, because you don't have that same...
And you don't have certain
network, same network. And I think that does help some women. Do you get what I mean?
I think some women just don't know.
They just don't know.
And I have noticed, guys, in the comments, and that just for people listening, that is something we definitely are going to be. Are going to be coming with something called the Free Mums Way.
Yes.
Where we kind of show different outfits 3 different ways. So you've got a
simple item, basically.
Yeah.
3 different ways, whether it would be we all wear the same footwear and show you multiple ways of a jacket or a blazer
something
or a
we're
dress.
Definitely passionate about. We want to add value. This isn't just conversations.
Yeah.
We don't want to just show you our outfits. We actually want to help.
Yeah. And
because I am be honest, like these 2, it's a lot easier for them. Like Natalie says, when Shaz gets it wrong, she really gets it wrong. Like, do you remember that day when we were at Grandma's after I had Samia? That day.
Oh Jesus! That was the epitome of that mum moment. Like, so we went. She met me at my grand's. Bearing in mind, Shannon's already lost quite a bit of weight, but she had on these jogging bottoms.
I bought a few outfits when I just had her.
Yeah,
and they were too big.
And they were big. I feel like they were big when you bought them anyway, but it was still comfortable. Charlene turned up in this T-shirt, these jogging bottoms, and a Mac. And she walked in. I was like, what are you wearing? Like, why are you... And she's like, what's wrong with it? Like, in her mind, it's comfortable. I said, Charlene, don't let me see you come out like that again. You have clothes. I said, you have clothes.
The jogging bottoms were too big.
And Charlene literally was like, I don't know what to wear. And she just, in that exact moment, motherhood had taken priority. She didn't know what worked. Yeah. She knew she had this new physique and she just didn't know. I said, Charlene, go home, try on this, and this. I told her to put on a pair of shorts. Cycling shorts. Oversized tee, put on your DMs with some socks, your army. She put it on it. She's like, oh my gosh. Like, even though she was bigger, it was just understanding how to dress that slightly bigger, because it was only slightly bigger version of herself. But she just had, I was like, don't let me see you come out like that again. Like, but she literally lost. No, the clothes were drowning her. But it's like, in her mind, she's bigger, so I wear bigger clothes. That's another thing. So many people make that mistake. Or some people wear bigger to make themselves look bigger, to add on size, and some people wear proper oversized to hide. Amph lives in oversized, but she knows how to wear the right oversized, that it doesn't look like it's drowning you. Not everyone knows how to do that.
So guys, knowing that you're both on your journey to go stepping into your 40s,
for me,
for you, that's true. Late 30s.
You man, don't rush things for me.
Sorry. Yeah. What would you say would be your focus for that part of your life, that chapter of your life?
Are you asking career-wise, family-wise?
Anything
broad.
Anything broad. It's a broad question.
Is it for you that you're going into late 30s? Like, everything?
So I definitely have some career goals, and I definitely have some decisions and things that I might need to shift now just because of life and being a mum and stuff like that. But there's something I think about in terms of my Christianity, and it's like, as a Christian, we're supposed to go from glory to glory. We're supposed to keep growing spiritually. And I think just as it is in the spiritual, as is in the physical. And so for me, when I think of age, the reason why it doesn't bother me is because I think, oh my gosh, like, I'm getting stronger, I'm wiser, I'm learning more. Like, the knowledge I have now, I didn't have when I was in my 20s, whether that's about self-esteem, whether that's about knowledge, money, career. Like, I just know more. I'm better, I'm richer. And for that, God, I thank you. Like, every single year, I'm so gassed because I'm like, it really, and even like losing some people recently last year, even more so now. I'm gonna embrace this. Yeah. I'm looking forward to, God willing, having more children. I am, I guess, classed as an older mother. And so, do I focus on it? Not really. I do think what helps me is feeling good within myself, whether that's in my body, health, and here. Gosh, there's a song that Lauryn Hill says, and she says, I just want to have peace of mind. And I think when all of those things are aligned, it's never always perfect. And I think God does that on purpose. Like, what was we saying that you're either going into something, dealing with something, or coming out of something. Going into a battle, dealing with a battle, coming out of a battle. It's actually a quote I got from someone called Priscilla Shire.
Yeah,
that's
the one. Yeah, you're talking about a different one. Yeah.
What's your one, sister?
The one I read, it said that if you're currently going through a blessing, enjoy it, because eventually you're going to come out of it. And if you're currently in a battle, endure it, because you're eventually about to go into a blessing. Like, it's just a cycle. And I actually feel, for me, the past few years of my life have been a complete mix of battle and blessing. I don't feel like I've had just one direct harsh. I just feel like the battle, and there's been such bittersweet moments at the exact same time, and this just keeps on going on. I don't know when I feel like I'm due just that calm blessing moment, just that long blessing period, just for a minute. I feel like I'm due that. But yeah,
my thing would be, in terms of age, like, and it's life in general, being married's hard, being single's hard, having children's hard, not having children's hard. And the quote is just like, choose your hard. And I think your question, Anth, about how do I feel about as I'm leading towards my 40s, I'm just going to try to embrace the good moments as much as possible. You cannot get away from challenges. I don't think anyone... You could be the richest person and money, unfortunately, you have no one to share it with. The enjoyment of that money is not going to be the same as if you had somebody to enjoy it with. And I just think, enjoy the people around you, enjoy the things around you. And I'm just going to try to continue to grow and evolve and just embrace life and enjoy it as much as possible.
Good. Well, for me, I think my 30s have been my most challenging decade. But then, no, I just think the past... It's hard. It's so hard to say. I think, no, do you know what? My 30s have brought the most changes. That's what I'd say. I actually have achieved the most stuff in my 30s. I think that's...
whole brand.
I think that's what I'll see. So I got married at 24, which for even me, when I look back now, was a baby. Like, do you get what I mean? To make such a big decision at such a young age. And there's no regrets. I don't regret anything. If I have one regret in one area, it's that I'm not well travelled. I've not travelled nowhere near as much as I would like to. But once again, I became a mother then at 27, then again at 31. It's just different choices. And I think that I've owned and I've embraced the choices for those seasons. So going into my 40s, my biggest goal is financial freedom. Being debt-free, like completely debt-free. But I think... the biggest thing is knowing that this will be my first decade ever with no self-esteem issues, because I definitely still had some body hang-ups in my early 30s after having children, and just knowing myself. I'm so excited for the first decade of my life. Don't tell me nothing about myself. Like, being surrounded with the right people. So, I think that's it. I've had a lot. I've been stung. Do you get what I'm trying to say to you? From 20s to 30s, I feel like in my peer group, I was maybe the first to do a lot of things, and not everybody celebrated that. Do you know what I mean? And that has been lonely. That journey has had very lonely moments. And I think for the first time, my 40s is me. I'm handpicking who gets to journey with me.
I feel like as you get older,
yeah,
it's a lot. When you get older, you just your tolerance.
My tolerance. I think but there's so many layers to it. Like, do you get what I mean? It's not just about me just dashing you out. Or it's not that. It's just. I think, my 40s is just I come first. I come first in everything. That's really what I'm excited about. So I'm not trying to...
energy, sorry.
Listen, I've been... She is on a different... It's Kevin Stage's wife, and I'm loving what I'm even seeing of her. Like, she did a post the other day, and she was just like, even what she was wearing, do you get what I mean? And she was just like, I'm embracing my sexiness, I'm embracing being a woman, I'm embracing, like, loving on my husband, like, even just...
And she's like, I'm enjoying sex.
I can relate to even just coming into marriage, even at a younger age. Do you get what I mean? And not having certain discussions. You don't get taught on pleasing your husband and just, you know what I mean? Like, and I having to navigate a lot of things on our own, and never having kind of like an older or maturer couple to bounce off of. We've found our way. Do you get what I mean? So there's loads of layers, but I'm excited for a different level of freedom in my marriage, a different level of experiences in my marriage, because my children are getting older, so being able to go away more. Just there's layers for me. But I think my 40s, I'm claiming it's going to be my best decade yet. And not because my 20s wasn't a good decade, or my 30s. They've all been good decades, but it goes back to what you said. They have created the pieces or the foundation for the woman that I'm still becoming. Do you get what I mean? I think that's what I'm most excited.
You always will be.
I always will. I'm excited for that season, and that season isn't here for any crap. That season's not here for any backbiting. That season's not here for any bad energy. That is just, there's so many layers to that new season for me. I'm excited. That's it. What about you? Because you're already in your 40s. 2
years
but
in. It's never too late.
Yeah.
That's what I'd say. It's nice to have like a brand new start. Like as soon as you're stepping into a new chapter in terms of, your 30s, your 40s, your 50s. It's like, brand new year, brand new, decade. But in all honesty, it hasn't been like that. The last 2 years hasn't been like that. And something that you had just said, Nat, is like, it hasn't been all struggles, and that's not what I'm trying to put out there. There has been amazing elements to my life. Yeah. But when I think back, married early. Yeah. Well, I say early. It was early to me.
24. Yeah, 24 is young.
Separated by 27. So that was a massive thing in your 20s. To be married and separated within 3 years. That was like huge. And then in my 30s, it was a whirlwind, becoming a mum of
three times.
No, three times. All three kids in my 30s, and experiencing a life-altering situation that I'm yet to talk about on here, guys. But course. Haven't.
When you're ready.
Haven't managed to get the gall to talk about it. But a life-changing situation that happened in my 30s. Oh.
It's fine, babes.
I'm sure you said no crying.
It's fine.
You did.
It's fine.
I said it.
It's fine. It's fine.
Yeah,
and when you're ready, you will share.
Yeah.
Do you get what I mean?
It's kind of filtered over into my 40s, I guess. So it's not too late.
It's not too late.
It's not too late.
You're still working through. You're still navigating.
It's hit me.
That moment in your 30s, because it has followed you into your 40s. And you say that, but it's funny you say that, getting that lump a little while ago put that whole perspective. It's a different situation to yours, but it really made me, had it gone differently, I'm going into my 40s a different version as to what I imagined of myself. Do you understand what I mean? So I'm very aware that life can still happen. I'm just doing my best, as Charlene says, to navigate it with peace of mind, and I think that's your goal.
Yeah, this is so multi-layered, guys.
There's so many layers.
Even just hearing you speak, Ankel, I'm not going to say much. I'm going to say more because, I'm not going to trigger you.
Yeah.
But it's just like, for the person listening who's like, I ain't had none of my dreams. For the person who's just like, my life does not look the way I envisioned when I was 16, or you just said it's never too late. And I think on that note,
we're gonna leave it there.
It's just hold on to that. Hold on to hope. I saw this quote the other day, and it said,
"It goes back to your song, man."
Okay, I'm gonna take this quote. The quote I heard was, "Where flowers bloom, there's always hope."
Yeah.
I remember saying it to Casey. He was like, "What does that mean?" I was like, "Well, wherever there's new growth, the flowers always bloom. Then there's always hope, and hope is the joyful expectation of good." So the world keeps going round, the grass keeps growing, there's always hope.
There is. Dun, dun, dun.
Ooh, you. Thank you so much for listening to today's episode. Make sure you follow us on all of our social media pages, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter @3moms, except for Instagram, which is 3_moms. And make sure you subscribe to us on YouTube. I have so many questions.